I don't know, maybe some of you guys can relate to this, but when I turned 40, all of a sudden, I started to make old man noises. Every single movement was suddenly punctuated by moans and groans because absolutely everything hurt. Like my knees, my back, my soul. They all suddenly became far too fragile to be messing around with anything as mundane as... Where's the rest of that? Fuck's sake. No, no, no. I hate these lights. I fucking hate them. I'm gonna burn them down. You live to light another day. What was I saying? Yeah, my back, my knees, and my soul. They're far too fragile to be messed around with anything that's further away than a tabletop. Laces in particular, they've become a nemesis. Luckily, there is a very simple solution. Chelsea boots. I even did a video on it. That might be linked up in the corner somewhere if I remember. I hardly ever remember. Actually, it's so light, I don't even think I need this. Right, in that video, I looked at BLUNDSTONEs, I looked at the Birkenstock Chelseas, and I looked at the Red Wing Chelseas. In the end, I concluded that the BLUNDSTONEs were overpriced, the Red Wings were amazing, but not in my size, and the Birkenstocks were a pretty good all-rounder. Since then, I learned that Red Wing are, unfortunately, sadly, discontinuing the Chelsea line, and they are sold out in my size just everywhere. And the Birkenstock, they downright lie, and those boots are total shit. I started to do a video on that, but just didn't really get around to it. Okay, this is a Birkenstock box with a pair of Birkenstocks inside. And this is a return label, because I'm returning the Birkenstocks with the box. I'm returning them because Birkenstock, you've been telling some fibs, right? You kind of did us dirty. And the BLUNDSTONEs, I still think they're overpriced, and I still have the problem that they can't be resold, so yeah, I'm out. Normally, I would say that the search continued, but in this case, it didn't really have to, because off the back of that video, Jim Green reached out, and they were like, would you like to try a pair of ours? Now, I'll be honest, I can't say that I'd ever heard of Jim Green. But after a quick Google search, I found out that Karl Morawski and Weston from Bozanville, they were big fans. So yeah, you better believe that I really wanted to try a pair of Jim Greens. And yeah, maybe I should just set fire to this. Always in the way. Yeah, I know that that video was, what, 2 months ago? Something like this? So why is it taking me so long to get this video out? Was I wear testing them? No. These two boots here, these were kidnapped by German customs. And I'd like to have a small little interlude here to teach the German customs and import officers the principles, who are actually nice people. Like the dealings with them I had, they really seem nice people, but they don't seem to understand the basic principles of opening a box. So here's a little lesson. You see how simple that was? Why you felt it necessary to slit this other box open with the box cutter and get to it this way, I will never know. In the interest of full disclosure, I'll tell you that I got both of these pairs of boots for free. And right away, I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to try and help Jim Green out the same way that I did with the jacket maker. For one thing, they just don't need any help. And to the jacket maker, like, guys, really, you have embarrassed yourselves. Like, I feel 1,000% confident in saying that the jacket maker make cheap jackets for really the wrong reasons, and it's a shit product, and at least one of the people at the company is a shit enough person to make fake YouTube accounts so they can comment positive things on the videos to say positive things about them, and negative things on the videos that say negative things about them. But anyway, that is an aside. And spoiler alert, these are amazing. As I said, Jim Green does not need any help at all. But as well as being amazing, they are also amazingly cheap for the boot you're going to get. If you want to know why these are amazing and why they're amazingly cheap, then yeah, you can continue watching. First, we're going to be covering the ins and outs of the boot. So that's like the leather, the other materials, the sole, the construction, all of that kind of good stuff. And then we're going to see how these boots can be so good and yet so affordable. After that, we're going to have a little look at the fit and then talk a little bit about the style, because I mean, yeah, let's face it, this is a particular pair of boots. But which ones are we going to start with? I think we'll start with these ones, because these are my favorite. This one that I am putting away and I'm not going to talk about is called the Stockman. And then this one is called the Outback, and it's the Outback in Crazy Fudge Horse, or Crazy Horse Fudge. Let's just make sure. Fudge Crazy Horse. And I'm not sure if that means that it is horse leather or that's just the name. Whatever kind of leather it is full grain, and it is around about 2.2 millimeters throughout. It is way, way thicker than the BLUNDSTONEs or the Birkenstocks, and I think around about the same as the Red Wings, maybe a touch softer. It is also fully lined, which for a boot in this, so it's fully lined with calfskin, and for a boot at this price, I'm really surprised about, but then there's a lot of things that I'm really surprised about with this boot. This is just super soft and super comfortable, and I think with the feel of it, it runs right the way down. At the heel counter, there is a different kind of leather. It's a rough out full grain leather that not only like adds to durability, but gives your heel that little bit of extra grip. And that counter and also the toe cap bit, they are thermoplastic. And I will be totally honest, the only way I know that the toe cap bit and the counter are thermoplastic is because Rose Anvil cut a pair of Jim Green chukkas in half. And I would presume that Jim Green uses the same materials throughout all of their range. So yeah, counter and toe cap bit, they are thermoplastic, which I have heard can crack, but honestly, I am never going to be using these hard enough to do enough wear and tear to crack a thermoplastic toe bit and counter. Then onto the bit that makes these boots Chelsea boots, the elastic. This has got a nice sort of textured weave on the outside, and then it's much smoother on the inside. That's good, otherwise it's going to be too uncomfortable against the ankle. And it's got a good amount of spring to it. It is thick, it's durable, really no problems with this. And yeah, just looking at it here, I like the way that little bit of extra texture works the rest of the boot. Just visually it works. Up at the top, front and back, where you've got these pull tabs here in the Jim Green green. That seems to be their thing, like green pull tabs, green laces. Makes sense with the frog logo in the back. These are good, they're hefty, and I really like there's two of them. It just makes getting the boot on and off just so damn easy. Okay, and moving down to the midsole and the sole. The construction of these boots is very simple. The upper bottom, if that makes sense, the upper bottom part is flanged out and stitched directly onto the midsole. And that's done with a heavy duty 2.2 millimeter nylon yarn. So that's gonna last the distance. And that upper, that is stitched onto a polyester based midsole. It's not leather, although it does look quite a lot like leather. And this is one criticism that seems to be across the board with Jim Green. That polyester midsole, it is pretty solid. It's got absolutely no flex or give whatsoever. And the insole that comes with the boots, it's not all that great. I don't know what this felt material is here. It's got the same leather that the boot's lined with on top, and there's this squishy stuff on the bottom. But yeah, this is going to be replaced pretty quick by most of us, I would have thought. I mean, certainly in my case, I'm going to replace it with my orthopedic insoles. I like to do that anyway when I can, and there's plenty of room in these boots, which we're going to talk about later. There's plenty of room in these boots to put a much chunkier, much more comfortable insole in. And then last but not least, the outsole. This is an R4 pure rubber compound outsole. And nope, I have zero idea what that means, and I'm betting it really doesn't matter all that much. I think this is made by Jim Green, at least it's a Jim Green branded outsole. And it's similar in appearance, maybe a little bit more rugged, but it's similar in appearance to the crepe outsoles that you find in like Clark Wallabies or maybe the Clark Desert boots. And I am curious if this is going to be as slippery as those crepe outsoles. I mean, this does really look a lot better, a lot more solid. But the crepe outsoles on the Clarks, they turn into, they just become frictionless when you've got like tiles, like slightly damp tiles. You lose any kind of grip at all. With these, I'm just gonna have to see. I have got no intention of slipping on my ass for the sake of science. In the dry though, I can tell you that these are absolutely solid. They are super grippy. And speaking of solid, these are very, very solid. Apparently there are some voids in the heel to give a little bit more squish, but certainly can't tell that. But yeah, I bet these are gonna last a really, really long time. When you finally do wear them out, and this is one of the best things about the boots, they're incredibly, incredibly easy to replace with this stitch down construction. You just have, or not you, but unless you're really handy, your cobbler has to just peel this off and stick a new one on top. And yeah, that is it. Pretty much top to, or toe to top of the boots. The brown ones, are pretty much exactly the same, apart from they are in a slightly shinier brown leather and they have got a lug sole. But yeah, how do they wear? I would say very, very well. If you are coming from a pair of Red Wings or a pair of other decent boots, then you're going to have no problem at all breaking them in. There's going to be no break-in period whatsoever. If you're coming from a pair of BLUNDSTONEs or maybe sneakers, you're going to feel a difference, but that soft, like really soft, supple lining, that's going to help a lot. The toe box from one side to the other really is in different time zones, which I wasn't sure about at all. I mean, I have a very, very standard size foot, so I was really thinking that I was going to like wash around in there, but no, it's not like that in the slightest. And with that really super wide toe box comes a lot of comfort. And also makes it very suitable for a really wide variety, no pun intended, but a wide variety of foot sizes and foot widths. The downside to this could be considered that the boots do look a little bit chunky, which I know that a lot of folk don't really associate or don't really like to think of Chelsea boots as being chunky. They more think of them as being like smart and refined. And yeah, maybe they don't really like this. But then again, like BLUNDSTONEs are just so super damn popular. And I'd say that these look a lot less clumsy than the BLUNDSTONEs. It could be that it's this stitch down construction. When the upper is just like flanged out like that, it seems to ground the boots a lot better. It's really a shame that I don't have the BLUNDSTONEs here for a comparison. So yeah, these do look chunky, certainly, but they don't look clumsy. It's a subtle difference, but it's definitely a difference. So hopefully by now I have convinced you that these are amazing boots and they are super, super cheap. But I guess you're asking, if they're so super cheap, then where's the catch? I mean, certainly I am no expert the way that Carl or Weston is, but I would say that these boots are, I'd expect to pay, I don't know, a couple of $100 for a pair of boots with this quality. And at the moment, these are retailing at $169, I believe. Which, yeah, that's definitely BLUNDSTONE territory, but I really think that you are getting a lot more boot for your buck with these. So yeah, why so cheap? Well, I think that there's a couple of things going on. For the first thing, the rand against the dollar is not doing so well, so that really works out in our favor, or works out in your favor, my American friends. It's also not doing so well against the euro comparatively, although it is in the upswing. But anyway, still, the exchange rate really works out well for us. And then there's the philosophy of how these boots have been put together. Jim Green seems to have thought to themselves, okay, we really want to make the best pair of boots possible, but we also want to make them affordable. So they think to themselves, okay, where do we have to put the money? Where do we have to put the emphasis? The leather, the sole and the constructions. They're all essential. And then Jim thinks, okay, but where can we afford to save a little bit of money? The counter, and the toe box thing. Yeah, we can save some money there. They are still really good, decent materials, but they're maybe not the best. The insole is the only thing that I can really hone in, and I notice that that's not really that great. But it's super easy to swap that out, and I think in a lot of cases we should with all boots. The rest of the boot, 99% of us are not going to notice that these aren't premium materials. Right, to sum up, these are exactly what I was looking for. A rugged, reasonably priced pair of Chelsea boots that I can easily slip on. I can take the kiddo to the playground. I can nip out in the middle of the night for nappy runs. Or, when she's finally asleep, I can sneak out for a Späti beer. And yeah, really, from my search and from my experience, I don't think it is possible to get a better boot for your money. If it is, just let me know in the comments below. I guess a lot of you are going to say redbacks. I saw that in the comments on the last video. I did look at them, but they were not for me. And when you're on your way down to the comments, if you could do that like and subscribe thing, you know how much I appreciate it. And guys, that leaves me to say, as always, I hope everyone is happy and healthy out there. Hope you're taking care of yourselves, hope you're taking care of each other, and I'm going to see you in the next video.